Peace, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. Siddiqui Shebaye, and I'd like to speak to you today about the Sankofa. Sankofa. Sankofa is really a bird. It's a bird of fertility in West Africa, Ivory Coast. And when you look at the Sankofa bird, here's a picture of the Sankofa bird. Prayerfully, you can see it. And when you look at it, you see that it's a bird with a seed in its mouth, or not a seed, but an egg in its mouth, and its head is turned backwards. And that's an indication that the bird is moving forward with his feet facing forward. His head is turned back, which he's integrating the past to the future. The past and the future. As a matter of fact, the presence and the past and the future. Now, the egg in the mouth represents the continuance of the community, our future. So when the head is turned back with the egg in its mouth, it's indicating never forget where you come from while you're moving forward. Never, ever forget where you're coming from while you're moving forward, brothers and sisters. Now, when you look at this bird, the Sankofa represents physical and intellectual. It's a physical and intellectual aspect of life as a continuance of the community. This is a spiritual bird. A lot of people, thought that we worship animals and worship the sun and all of that. It wasn't worshiping it at all. What it was doing was giving reverence to the powers and the energies of that bird or that animal or the sun. Now, when you look at the bird, it's a symbol of the past and the present and moving into the future. Now, one thing about people in America, us in America, we forgot about our past. And because we forgot about our past, that's why you see us roaming around like we lost people, don't know which way to go, don't know what to do, But when you're connected to the ancestors, the ones in the past that came yesterday, when you connect with that, what you're doing is you're standing on their shoulders. You're using them as a gauge. You're energizing yourself by using them as a frame of reference. We must connect to our past, which gives us vision into the future. Because if you don't know where you come from, you damn sure don't know where you are, and you damn sure don't know where you're going. It is what it is. But we must honor and represent our ancestors, the ones in the past, to let them know that we are connected to them, that we are going to carry on and do better. And do better. But it's one thing about poor people, and there's too many poor people in America that looks like us. And when you look at a poor person, when you analyze a poor person, they don't have a clue of who they are. And that's why they are shameful people. They're embarrassed people. They're confused people. And we must do all we can to get our balance. And in order to get your balance, you have to have a connection. And the connection is your relationship with one another. We have to honor and represent our ancestors, the ones who gave us an opportunity to carry on what the foundation that they have laid. Let's build on it and do better. And do better. We must do all we can to be intentional about our efforts. If you're not intentional, it's not going to happen. But for too long, we have been doing things in an unconscious manner. That means that anything can happen at any time. We have to be more conscious. We have to be more deliberate. We have to be more intentional. And when you're doing that, you have a certain focus. Like today, all this corona stuff going on. Don't go for the hype. It's almost like we threw God and our ancestors right out the window. This is the golden opportunity to prove to ourselves that we have a solid connection and that we're going to carry on no matter what's going on. Any means necessary. Any means necessary. We are the ancestors having a human experience, but we must keep our connection with the spiritual ancestors, because sooner or later, we're going to be a spiritual ancestor. So we must prepare ourselves for our next go-round. We must prepare ourselves for our future. And our future is really based on our children, and we must teach the children correctly. We are upset with the children, which they are the effect. Why get mad at the effect when we should be checking out what caused the effect? We must face our reality in that all of us made mistakes. And so therefore, we must correct our mistakes. In other words, what do you call that? Redemption? We must redeem ourselves. Because what's better than better? Better. So we must better ourselves. We must go Sankofa. We got to go back and get it. That's what Sankofa means. Go back and get it. But you got to know your past in order to go back to know what to get. Never forget your past, because you might have to go back and bring it up and validate it, because integration got us going in circles. Before integration, we had unity, we had relationships, we had businesses, we had respect. And since we integrated, we are just like the enemy, always competing against each other negatively, disrespecting one another, getting over on one another, being slick, being like oil, when in fact we are water. We keep it moving. Brothers and sisters, look in the mirror and ask yourself this question: who am I? Each person, I challenge you to do that. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, who am I? That's the first question. The second question is, how did I get here? Or how did our people get here? Or how did our family get here? The third question is, what are some of my family traits, my family's characteristics, my family gifts, my family's behavior? What are let's find out what that is so that we'll know who we are. We have to be true to ourselves, brothers and sisters. We have to make it real and keep it real. History is the past. Now is the present. Tomorrow is the future. So we have to know our past to know where we are so that we'll know where we're going. But we have to use our ancestors as a gauge, as a frame of reference to honor and represent them, because we are them in the physical. Brothers and sisters, keep your lights on and keep them bright at all times. The Sankofa. Always know where you come from so you know where you are, so you know where you need to go. When you have those three in order, you are divine. Raw food for thought. Peace.